I have recommended to farmers to look at technologies and see how they make money for them and consider the data like the cream on the cake. But the cake itself, what we're going to eat, is going to be, can I use this technology? Does it make my cows happier, healthier, more productive?
Digital disruption for food and farming. That is the topic I'm going to discuss in this episode of Future Feed Talks. In the hot seat, we have Aidan Connolly, President of Agritech Capital. My name is Zana van Dijk, the editor of Dairy Global, and this series is in cooperation with DSM Firmenich, Animal Nutrition and Health. So welcome, Aidan. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Zana.
So just to get back to your presentation, in terms of digital disruption and technology, how has technology evolved in the dairy sector? Could you tell us a bit about that?
I think technology is certainly being embraced in the dairy sector. Dairy farmers are using lots of technology on the farm. Sometimes I think that they're doing it to a greater degree than the rest of agriculture. You know, that's certainly something I explored in terms of presentations and the book I've written. But in particular, we see robotics, we see wearable devices, we see the use of sensors. Of course, everything to do with methane or methane is very hot, labor issues. I would just generally say that certainly in terms of livestock, dairy has been at the forefront of getting technology, using technology, implementing technology faster than any other species.
Oh, so there's a lot happening in the dairy sector.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so where would you say the biggest impact has been thus far? Or is that even possible to say?
Well, sometimes I think about the glass half empty, glass half full, and the glass half full is that we probably have today somewhere of the order of 15, 20 million cows now that have attached devices to them, so we can track them, so we can see their health, so we can get heat detection, etc. Robotics, the use of robots, particularly for milking cows, is at a much, much lower level, but is growing. Certainly in excess of 1 million cows globally are being milked, probably several million at this stage. So that sounds like a great story, and other technologies as well. But remember that we think there are over 300 million cows on the planet, dairy cows, and of those, I would say probably 100 million are really productive or fairly productive.
So quite a big chunk.
Yeah, so we have maybe 20% of those cows have embraced technology so far. There's still a lot of room to go.
So in terms of sustainability and technology, how has technology spurred on sustainability?
Perhaps the other way around.
Discussion at the moment, or what, the other way around?
The other way
as
around.
Well?
I do think, Zana, that the sustainability pressures coming from consumers, coming from food groups, coming from milk processors, Nestle, Danone, Parmalat, Dairy Farmers of America, Glanbia, Kerry. These are all groups which are reflecting consumer demands, what I like to call prosumers, proactive consumers. Prosumers' demands for the food to be more sustainable, to know where it came from, how the animals were treated, what we did on the farm. And technology is part of responding to that, but the primary driver of use of technology on dairy farms is still productivity, is still profitability. And I don't think that's wrong, because many times our dairy industry, our milk industry is demanding a lot more of farmers, but not necessarily paying them for it. And in that context, the first port of call needs to be, did this make me more money? And then secondarily, how did it improve my sustainability?
So in terms of that, is there a mindset change that needs to happen between what the consumer demand is and what farmers need to do?
Yeah, I hate to use the phrase, but a good friend of mine from California likes to use it, which is it's hard to be green when your farm is in the red. And so if you lose money on your dairy farm, it's very hard to embrace sustainability as a proactive decision. You tend to do it when you either see more profitability or where the customer says, I won't buy from you unless you do this. But I am a big believer that two things go hand in hand. The larger farms with more productive cows being properly treated by veterinarians on scale tend to be, are more sustainable than small farms with small amounts of cows, where the producer, the dairy farmer probably has to have another job, so they're not on the farm all the day long. So the two things for me do go together, and I'm a big believer that technology will be implemented to meet sustainability initiatives, and both of those will help us make milk more profitable in general.
And possibly profitable in the long run. So changes could be made, there are certain costs, but in the long run it should be a profitable aspect of it.
Yeah, even in the short term, in my book, In the Future of Agriculture, there's a whole chapter dedicated to dairy, and I do talk about the need to see the profitability in a technology immediately. And I think technologies have shown the ability to do that. So it's not a 10-year payback or 5-year payback.
Depends on what you're talking about in terms of long run and short run. Yeah,
it should be within 18 months, I would say. And I also used the phrase, I think I've done it in a couple of articles with your magazine. I've talked about the need for the technology to be as simple as Apple, so that when I open up the box and when I take the device out and it's already fully charged and ready to go, that's what we're expecting from dairy tech, ag tech in general.
Yeah. So in terms, still on technology, what are the ones to watch out for? What can you say about that? Should we take note of the ones that are being developed now and how far they will go in the coming years? What are those ones in terms of the dairy sector?
Yeah, that's a great question. So today we're just going to see more and more sensors being used. I like the use of wearable sensors. Been talking a lot here about more recently about the use of technologies like SMAX tech, so technologies that go inside the cow. I think that provides
a bolus that sort of thing.
Sensor. I like the idea of measuring the milk. Obviously, talked about Labby in
real time.
So the ability to take the milk in real time, analyze for milk fat, milk protein, somatic cells, and other things. Very exciting. Other livestock industries don't have that advantage. I think in general, the driver is going to be labor-saving devices. So that's the immediate requirement, is how do I save labor on the farm? However, the longer term, the area I'm most excited by is artificial intelligence. And I know ChatGPT is always the flavor of the month. 12 months ago, we didn't even know what it was. And now we talk about it, seems all the time. But frankly, everything to do with making people on the farm smarter, make better decisions, make less mistakes, interpret what they see better, that's got to be part of our future.
Right, get information faster as well, yeah.
And information faster. So AI is the glue for me that puts all of your sensor data, all of your robotic data, all of your drones and your satellites, and all that together into one format that I can make decisions better.
Right, lots happening. And so in terms of digital disruption, how does agriculture compare to other sectors? Are we ahead? Are we behind? What's your opinion on that?
I wouldn't think that we are. The primary, I suppose I'll go back to the McKinsey report that says that agriculture is 10 years behind the other industries. It's the least digitized industry, alongside hunting, of all things. So hunting and farming are the least digitized. And I think that unfortunately is still true. I think livestock is probably about 10 years behind crops in terms of adoption of technology. We see in the use of wheat, corn, grapes, flowers, technology is being used to a tremendous degree. And even there still could be more. So, and within livestock, I think dairy is ahead of chickens and pigs and beef and other species.
Yeah.
So not 10 years, but maybe 3 to 4 years. So the dairy industry is certainly doing well compared to livestock, is behind crops, but agriculture in general is way behind the use, for example, of technology in consumer applications. And even within the food industry, when you think of food waste, when you think of perishability, when you think of everything to do with supply chain optimization, the use of AI and the use of robotics is just tremendously
Come
greater.
a long way.
Yeah.
So there's also a lot of discussion in terms of transparency for the consumer. What, in terms of technology changes, how has that changed along the way to make the sector more transparent?
Again, it's interesting to me because I thought that this would happen faster.
Right.
But no question, the ability for a farm to be able to put their farm on the internet, to be able to have live cams, to be able to use QR codes, as I've seen in China with the Hema grocery stores, where you can scan the QR code and see a video of the food, video of where it was produced, video of the farm.
It's readily available to.
It's readily available
consumer.
to consumers. Right. So that obviously did not exist 10 years ago, maybe 15. And from that perspective, the transparency has increased, and it allows smaller organic people doing things differently who want to communicate. They can communicate directly with consumers. That said, consumers, particularly what I'd call these prosumers, are demanding more. And sometimes we're not fully comfortable with that, but that's certainly, transparency is fundamentally something technology allows us to bring. And I think we should provide it as part of what we offer. Right.
It should be a more continuation of farm to consumer, and the journey should be, I guess, easier for the consumer to see what's happening.
I believe so. I mean, some of us think that consumers don't want to know about food, don't want to know where it comes from, just want to get the product in a package at the grocery store and not have to question.
But that's changed.
But I believe that's changed, not for everybody. Clearly, price is still a major driver, but there's a core group of people in every society, in every country, who are demanding it, and they are influencing very much our business, and we have to respond to that.
Right, it affects farmers as well. So, Aidan, what about the value of data and its role in digital disruption? What does the future hold? Do you know what the future holds?
I don't know that I know exactly what the future holds, but I know that I believe we've overplayed the value of data, and we believe that data is in the oil. I think milk used to be the oil at some stage. We have to be careful. Lots of countries have loads of oil and they're not particularly rich. So can you mine the data for greater insights? Yes. Should you be selling your data? I have my doubts. Clearly, there will be applications that we can bring technologies that will be better, more adapted to the farm, using better data. Yes, I believe that. But I think the idea that this in some way will be a profit pool that farmers can gain benefit from, I do have my skepticism on that. And right. I think that I have recommended to farmers to look at technologies and see how they make money for them, and consider the data like the cream on the cake. But the cake itself, what we're going to eat, is going to be, can I use this technology? Does it make my cows happier, healthier, more productive? That's where we need to be.
It has to be really specific.
I think it has to be really specific. Yeah. And then the data piece could be something in the future, but don't count on that in making your decisions.
Well, thank you, Aidan, for your insights and sharing those with us today. And thank you for being here.
Oh, pleasure as always, and look forward to anybody who does want to read my book. It is downloadable from the Agritech website. Indeed, even for sale on and it's free, exactly, it's free. We should repeat the word free because that's an unusual word nowadays. But yeah, it's a downloadable book, and if you really want to, you can buy it from Amazon.co.uk.
All right, thank you, Aidan. And thank you for watching Future Feed Talks. If you want to see more episodes or listen to our podcast, please click on the link below.